Welcome to those of you who are joining us this evening. Thank you ever so much. For those of you who are Tech Wednesday regulars, you'll kind of know how we work. So I'm just going to quickly give a quick overview. So Tech Wednesday is our monthly meetup. It happens on the third Wednesday of every month. Obviously, for the last 6 months, we've been online, which is super weird, but we're hoping that every single month we do this, we're getting closer to returning in person. So fingers crossed, we'll see you all in person very, very soon. What I do ask of you is throughout this evening, if you are kind of using social media, then please do use the hashtag there, hashtag TechWeds, and any kind of online chat that you're having. It just helps us keep it all in one place, and we can see what's going on. Make sure that the guys, the speakers for this evening, can also track any kind of cool comments that you have about them, and you know, retweet them. So we're super excited to have two great speakers with us this evening. I say two speakers, but we've actually got three fantastic people. So we're going to hear this evening from Sam, Alejandro and Daniela. I'm going to quickly give a brief overview, but not to give too much away, because obviously they're going to do a great job of that as the evening goes on. So Sam joins us this evening. He's the co-founder of Desks, which is a really exciting concept to hopefully make the process of hot desking as easy as possible. And then we're also joined this evening by Alejandro and Daniela, co-founders of Sibo. Again, super exciting concept, taking the sustainability world by storm, and using kind of uncommon materials, should I say. But I'm not going to give any more away because I know the guys will cover it a lot better than I will. So this evening, as I say, we're just going to do a quick welcome from myself. Sam's going to give us a 10-15 minute talk, and then we'll open up to Q&A with him. Then we're going to hear from the guys from Alejandro and Daniela, open up to Q&A with them. And then we're just going to cover a few accelerator opportunities that are going on throughout the Midlands at the minute, which will be great for you guys to get involved with. And we'll hopefully wrap up around 6:30. Depends on how many questions we get. If we're all really enthusiastic, we might run over, but I hope we'll get to 6:30 and then we can all head up and have our dinner, which is what the exciting bit for me at the end of this evening after a long day in the office. So I'm not going to take much more of your time. What I'll do is ask Sam, please, to share your screen and to give us an overview, take us through how this office working scenario, post-COVID world is all going to pan out.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. Absolutely. 1 second, I'm just going to share my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen, then I'm going to present.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about past, present, and future of office work. And we know as a fact that everything is changing, as we see, like, for example, today, the event has been most of the times in person, but now we have it over the Zoom. Hi, everyone. Thank you for the introduction. I don't need to go through it. So my name is Sam. Today I'm going to go through three main areas. One is the pre-pandemic, as of the past, what's happened, where we are currently as of the present, and post-pandemic, the future of office working. Let's start with pre-pandemic. Well, you can see the chat. Can you see? Sorry, apologies. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see this part here. Okay. Well, we know as a fact that the demand for flexible workspace has been huge and was growing very fast. As of 2001, 2002, there was almost nothing in the market, and the IWG and Spaces and others, they grew on the market, and from 2008 until 2018, we've seen a huge surge in demand for office spaces, especially flexible office spaces, and we've seen names such as like WeWork coming to the market and going down. And but overall, the demand was really high until, of course, 2019 and 2020, which the pandemic started. However, still there is a lot to grow, and certain people, especially like this company co-worker, they said that still with pandemic there is growth, but it's a slower growth. For example, from 2019 to 2019, there's like around 1,000 co-working spaces being opened up globally, and around again by 2019 there was around 1,000 of these 19,000 in the UK. Prior to the pandemic, co-working spaces were the fastest growing type of office spaces in the commercial real estate, while the current comprises less than 5% of the market. They are expected to make up to 30% of the market by 2030. So it's certainly we see the growth even with the pandemic. Well, what are the reasons why co-working spaces are growing so fast? Well, there are three main reasons. The first one is technological evolution, such as digitally and mobile enabled flexible working strategy, rise of on-demand ops, and an increasing importance of the community. We see that the growth of the SMEs and self-employed through the economical drivers, rise of entrepreneurial economy. Many people now would like to be entrepreneurs. We see that the startups now leading the markets, and then the corporates are following them. You see now that even the corporates are getting into the co-working spaces and working from the employees are working from different co-working spaces. And these are the main reasons why there is the fastest growing market for the office spaces, the co-working spaces. However, this was again before the pandemic. Then we had suddenly in 2020, the pandemic shocked the world. We live currently in it. According to ONS, the government, 30% of adults in UK were exclusively working from home at the start of the July. That's a big number. That's 30% of all adults working from home. And well, these scenarios that became the normal as we currently are in the Zoom. And again, most probably this gentleman didn't wear any trousers. And the most common words that we heard for the past few months is "you are on mute," because again, majority of the time we don't know that we are on mute. Well, jokes aside, what is happening? Well, now 72% of the managers expect to have flexible work from home policies post-pandemic. 72% of UK employees and managers report that they want to have some sort of ability to work from home, but at least in a part-time basis, so they can choose. So there's more of a policy that they can choose where they can work from office or not. But then sometimes the media, they misconstrue these numbers. They say like people want to work from home, which is not true, because we see as a 62% of these individuals, and this is a study made by Microsoft and another one by McKinsey, has felt less connected to the team working from home. So we see that there is a clear problem of working from home. And one of the main ones is certainly for the employers is productivity tax. Well, we know as a fact that long-term remote work is leading to global drop in productivity. Well, in US, 85% of the US office workers were working from home, and we've seen a drop of 14% in their productivity. And UK is not that much better from the US, as we see from the right-hand side. Again, we see that the drop in the output per hour and output per work in 2008 was a massive drop. But we see again in 2020 Q1, because people started working from home, there was a really bad drop of the productivity, especially per worker, because again, they needed to learn how to deal with the scenario of working from home and learning everything from scratch. And again, is not the best way of working together in a company. And again, everyone is different, but you see clearly that there is a drop in productivity, and productivity tax is becoming the reality, unfortunately, with working from home. Well, the management must drive the right behavior to address new challenges, right? So we hear certain things. So, for example, these three problems as examples. Yes, there are too much going on at home. I'm always distracted. My kids here, my spouse here, that is too distractful for me to work from home. The second is I work a lot at home because there is not much of like hours. They say I'll go home by this time. So it's burnt out and losing motivation. So the people say I need my work-life balance back. And third is I feel lonely and I can't get into my working flow, and I need a quiet professional space to work. I mean, from my my own perspective, I live in central London, and well, I don't have an office desk that I can work from. So for the past 6 months almost, I've worked from my bed. It's not the best place to work from. So certainly it's not the ideal solution for everyone working from home. But again, with another study by Log Me In, which was actually last month conducted, said that 40% of the individual who they asked, they said like they had 40% had a poor team communication, 37% that had a lack of human interaction because of working from home, and 30% of the workforce, they lost their motivation working from home. So we understand is purely working from home is not the answer. Well, but CFOs, they're loving it because they don't need to pay for expensive office spaces. So there was a study by Gartner that asked the CFOs of big organizations, the smaller ones, as of what would happen after a pandemic, right? When everything goes back to normal, what they would do. And 27%, they said 5% of their workforce, they remain remote. About 70%, they said like 20% will remain remote. That's a big number, right? We know as a fact that's not good, but again, that's just not about the individuals. As Andy Street, the mayor of Birmingham, said that the shift in workers away from city centers offices due to the current pandemic is providing a great challenge for businesses that rely on office workers. And these are not just office providers; these are coffee shops, other restaurants around, many other businesses that relied on this. So we need to understand that. Again, it's not just working from home and everything is sorted. It's a grave challenge that we are dealing with. But at desks, again, what we believe that would be the future is post-pandemic is DaaS. That's the term that we came up with, is desk as a service. So we believe that's the solution. Well, around a year ago, before the pandemic, I was working from my Microsoft office in London. Middle of the day, there was an event I wasn't aware of, and I needed to leave the premises. And I went to, as everybody would do, went to a coffee shop to work from a coffee shop. It was way too busy. It was very noisy, and I needed to work half a day. So people started looking at me after a while, stuff like, why don't you leave or buy this, buy that? I felt very uncomfortable. So I started looking around me to find a flexible working space that I could work from, and I couldn't find anything in central London. Unbelievable. And I said, this is a big gap. And I started asking my colleagues, other professionals, as if they actually felt the same. And shockingly, majority of them, they felt the same. So for example, a colleague of mine said like he'd been traveling to other countries, to Spain, to Portugal, to actually visit a customer, that will either work from hotel lobby, other places that they don't feel very comfortable working from. So certainly we know that there is a massive gap of a solution that you can actually individually looking for an office space or desk around you as a service. So we believe that's as a solution. Well, the company, so we made we came up with this solution to see how we can actually work on it. So with another colleague of mine to show is we came up with the name Desks. As of like, we providing desk. We're currently on a stealth mode. We are developing a platform where we'll show you a certain feature of it. Well, we are the founders of it. My name, again, Sam, worked previously at Intel, and my co-founder, Dimitri, who worked in part with the innovation campus at Carnegie, which actually provides AI solution for autonomous cars. And we started this together. We said like, we can actually fill this gap in the market, and perhaps like help ourselves to work from places that we would like to work. I just, again, I really hate working from home, and that's why we say you need to be able to work from anywhere, anytime. So if you will, you're basically building the Airbnb but for desks. You're a multi-sided platform. We're building applications for both Android and Apple Store. It will look like on the right-hand side. So you just open your app, see like what the desks are around you, and then you book it, go there and work. It's easy as 1, 2, 3, discover the desk around you, book and confirm the one you like, check in and start working. Why we would like to do this? Well, our mission is just to make life a bit easier for anyone who's looking for a quiet and affordable space to work. And we see a future at desk that you can book a desk whenever and wherever you need it. So you don't need to basically experience the problems as I did previously, and many people do. Well, there's an elbow bump for you. Thank you very much for the time today. This is my details. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can email me at sam@desk.app. Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sam. I think we all can, understand that working from home was before it happened was kind of a luxury, I think, initially, so we thought, and then as soon as the kind of month 1 went by, month 2 went by, and we're all craving that interaction in the office again. So really great to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, again, I was saying it to my colleagues. I said, like, I cannot work from home. Like, I literally need, even like middle of the pandemic, I said, like, please just give me a coffee shop now. I would be happy to go and work from coffee shop. But I don't want to work from home. I mean, home should be home, work should be work. That's what I believe.
Super. Okay, so we did have a question come through during the talk. So Paul has asked, how is the reported drop in productivity measured for home workers?
How the drop is measured? I believe that is a study that asked the companies, as of like again, I can actually provide the link if it's required, but that they have asked the managers of the companies whether the outputs within this month to the last year, how many is just like whether there was a drop or not, and they found that per worker there was a drop. But I can share the link for further information if Paul would like to.
Yeah, perfect. If you want to just drop that in the chat, before the end of the session, that would be really fab.
No problem.
Is there any other questions from the audience whilst we have Sam? Give that a moment for anybody to ask away. So obviously, Sam, you're saying about these coffee shops in London, and obviously most of our audience here are Midlands based. So what's the future for Birmingham, and for how's the app going to work in the Midlands?
That's right. So we actually strategically decided to start from Birmingham, and the decision was because Birmingham is right next to Bristol, very close to Bristol. It has got one of the highest numbers of hot desks and flexible working spaces available per population in Europe. Even London is, I think, is 4th or 5th in Europe per population. And of course, London has got the biggest market. But and for us, it was like, okay, so let's utilize Birmingham as our test bed for the platform and expand from Birmingham, because it makes sense to go to London and other major cities in Europe. So yeah, definitely Birmingham is a strategic choice for us to grow the platform, but we are still in the development and it's still in stealth mode. But yeah, certainly in a few months time, hopefully we would be able to have the platform up and ready for individuals to utilize. Hopefully by then the whole pandemic will get sorted. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, I think that applies to everything in life at the minute, actually. It doesn't seem like we've got any more questions coming in, but obviously if anybody does think of anything, please feel free to pop those questions and we can ask Sam, who's going to be with us for the rest of the session. So thank you ever so much for your time there, Sam.
Thank you very much, sister. I appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so we won't waste any time. We'll hand straight over to Daniela and Alejandro. As I mentioned at the beginning, these guys have a company called Sibo. Really cool concept. And as I said at the beginning, I'm not even going to try to explain anything because I would not do a good job of it. So if I'd invite you guys to share your screen, and as Sam says, to unmute yourself, because that's those famous words. And yeah, please do tell us about Sibo.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. My name is Alejandro.
And my name is Daniela, and we're the co-founders of Sibo, like already stated.
Well, at Sibo, before we say what we do, we wanted to tell a little bit about what's our story and where we're coming from with, with this idea. Where is the passion and the purpose? And we were born in Costa Rica and raised there as well, in a country in the middle of the two big Americas, just part of Central America, a country with two seas and with a lot of biodiversity. Apparently, it's 5% of the world's biodiversity in a country that is, like a seventh of a part of the UK, actually of England. So it's very small. It has a high concentration of resources, natural resources. And that was part of the passion that, made us start with this. But also because we realized that there were incredible problems in the world. We saw that a third of the global food production was going to waste and is currently going to waste. Also, a generation of plastic, which we all know is a great problem, but it's 300 million tons of plastic waste every single year. So when we put it on a number, it's more scary than you usually would think. But at the same time, 45% of the greenhouse gases are coming from the food industry and agriculture, as well as the plastic waste and the food waste. So something that we realize is that the food industry is not doing a really good job. And at the same time, we are going to be struggling to feed 10 billion people by 2050. So basically, there are people that says that we are going to need 3 planets to be able to feed these kind of people by 2050.
Basically, what we're eating is killing us. So that's why we decided to go with insects, the food of the future. Insects are really one of the most efficient and sustainable sources of food that we can utilize. They actually are a source of protein, of fiber, of healthy fats, minerals, vitamins, and it's also a really sustainable food. For instance, they utilize less water, up to 2,000 times less water than like regular livestock to produce the same amount of protein, less land, and emit less CO2 emissions as well. So definitely the food of the future.
And with that, we decided to start Sibo. Sibo is basically looking towards thoughtful innovations. And Sibo is the name of the main Costa Rican deity. It's actually the name of the deity and the god who taught the native Costa Ricans how to grow the natural resources and produce in a responsible way. So what a better name than something that is from our past, that defines us, and that has such a great purpose. And what we decided to start was not only to create a new kind of food and the food of the future, as Daniela mentioned, but also to create a new kind of biomaterials and change the basis of food industry instead of just waiting until the consumption changes. We understand that changing consumption is almost impossible. It's really hard. It's going to take centuries to be able to actually change it. But we believe that by partnering with big corporates and changing the basis of production, we can actually create the future of the food industry. So far, the company was started in 2020 at the beginning of this year. But before of that, we started with a small company in Costa Rica just to grow the insects. We're going to tell you a little bit about that. Now we have 15 team members that are located in different parts of the world, in the UK, in the Netherlands, in Portugal, Brazil, and Costa Rica. As Daniela mentioned, the emissions are reduced by 100 times and the water consumption by 2,000 times when we produce with our processes and with insects. And this is how the company looks today.
Exactly. Basically, we started with the agri-tech division of the company, and this is just to mainly focus on the insect supply chain and diversification. So right now, this is what we're doing in Costa Rica, and we're partnering with families to farm insects and supply to our food tech division. This partnering is also called our our farmer program is on a national level, and we're mainly focusing on the women in rural areas. We also have a food tech division that creates a series of food ingredients and raw materials. And basically what we do is to develop finished products for the final consumer using the insect materials from krick. And
which is basically the main focus that we are doing here in the UK. And that's the main reason why we are here now in the area of Birmingham to partner with food manufacturers and be able to take these products to market as soon as possible.
Exactly. And then the third division that we have is the biotech division, in which we are creating new materials and new businesses in order to take advantage of these opportunities that we have in biomaterials. So we're basically making unexpected innovations by using our products from our insect supply chain. As you can see, as we grow the operational divisions, we're also growing the impact that we can make, the positive impact that we can make in the world.
And ideally, these companies or this structure is going to allow us to focus on creating different types of partnerships in different types of places in the world. So that way we are creating, as Daniela mentioned, increasing the impact, but also without forgetting the people that are very important in the supply chain and focusing on fair trade and not to create any other problems while solving the food production.
Exactly.
This is, well, our key innovation, which is something that we are developing we have been developing for the past year, is going to be a pioneer protein extract out of the insects, which can be applied to pretty much any product.
Exactly. And well, as you can see, basically it will be water soluble, and of course there is the impact that we're doing and that you will also be doing by consuming our protein extract.
This for us is something that in the future we see as something that is going to be a type of commodity. Hopefully we're going to be able to standardize this process and take it globally, where you can think of it in 50 or 100 years like sugar or salt or something that is going to be added to any type of product without thinking on insects. And that is the twist that we are providing. For us, it's not about the insects, it's about what you can do with the components that insects have. And one of those components, well, is the protein. But there are also other components that are allowing us to create other types of products.
Exactly.
For example, the brownie bites, which is going to be a product that is going to be on our crowdfunding pre-sales next month. Hopefully you're going to be able to taste a lot of this in the UK, in Birmingham.
Yeah, exactly. And basically this is one of our key products for the finished consumer that we're preparing. So these are brownie crackers or brownie biscuits, if we can say, that are high in protein, fiber, low in sugar. It's basically making a guilty pleasure a sustainable pleasure, and a delicious and healthy pleasure. And also really interesting is that insects are also a source of fiber. This fiber can be made into plastic or a biopolymer. So we are also developing endoplastic. This is a key innovation for us to reduce food waste, plastic waste, and increase also food security as well.
Well, our support network is the team that is allowing us to have access to different universities and different types of support. Because at the beginning for us was coming from Costa Rica and having this great idea, but not having the platform, not having the investment, not having the structure, and basically being called crazy. And at that point we were, because we didn't have any way to build that bridge into making it real or any access. In Costa Rica, people jokes sometimes that, okay, that's to be crazy is possible sometimes, but that is for developed countries, countries like in Europe or in the US. And for us, it was really hard. But thanks to this support network, now here in Birmingham, with Birmingham Enterprise Community, with Boston Consulting Group, Accelerate 2030, Impact Hub in Costa Rica, and in Geneva, as well in the International Trade Center and Sydney, have been able to help us create the company that we have today, with 15 team members, with a board with investment, and with products that are incredible innovations that nobody thought possible a couple of years ago.
And we would like to just close our intervention just saying that the future will either be green or not at all. Just let us think about that. We should choose the path of sustainability, but also that can be easily adopted as well. So really, that would be everything.
Yeah, for us, it's very important this thought, because we wanted to finish with something that we started, which was realizing that basically it's about making the change now or never, because it's not a matter of whether you want or you believe or not. It's a matter of taking action, and that's what we want to provide, not only to other corporations, to other startups, but also to the end consumer. And that's pretty much what we are kind of doing with our finished products. We hope you like them and you can try them and test them very, very soon. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask it.
Thank you so much, guys. As I said, I'm so glad I didn't even attempt to, talk about that, because there's no way I would have done it. I think definitely if those brownies were available at the beginning of the pandemic when everyone was fighting over bags of pasta, it definitely would have solved a few problems for sure. Okay, if anybody does have any questions, please do submit them now, either by the Q&A tab or into the chat box. You can also raise your hand, I believe, and I can unmute you if you'd prefer. But yeah, really interesting concept.
Actually, now that you were talking about the pasta, well, that's coming in the future, very soon. So if you are going to love the brownies, we have a solution for the pasta, and it's almost ready. We'll see how everything goes. Hopefully the UK is going to be the first country to try them.
And that wasn't even planned either. It's good. So we got a question coming in from another poll, different poll this time. Do the brownies also include chocolate? Main question.
Well, of course they do. Actually, that's why we say that this is a guilty pleasure that is going to become a healthy pleasure. Because wouldn't you want something that is like a chocolate cake, or well, for me, a beer or something like that, that is considered something that is not recommended by nutritionists, but instead changing the basis is going to allow you to enjoy those type of foods and feel healthy. And that's pretty much my dream, and that's what we are trying to create on the products as well. Daniela is a nutritionist, so she helps making it real. I just kind of want those things to happen. And well, we have an amazing team led by biotech engineers and food tech engineers that are going to make any of the suggestions or crazy products or products that you like become a reality. Combine like chocolate, for this example, pasta, or even ice cream in a very, very short future.
Okay. And hats off to you, Daniela, because I've just started a new macro plan and I'm on week 2 and it's still, my brain cannot get my head around it just yet. So hats off to you for doing that full-time. Nutrition is something that I wish I could understand. But okay, if anybody else does have any questions, obviously feel free to type them away and we'll continue. I did say at the beginning, there's just a few opportunities that I wanted to share. So I'm just going to share my screen once more, just to show you guys. Let's skip through. Okay, so the first one I just want to quickly cover is the HS2 Accelerator Programme. So Innovation Birmingham launched this probably around 2 months ago now, and within that short space of time, we've got cohort up and running. That launched this week. 5 businesses were selected, and we're really excited that those guys are on board. And now our second cohort is open. So we're accepting applications for this, and actually it closes at the end of this week. So it's been open for a couple of weeks now. I just wanted to remind everybody that if you do want to get your application in for that, please do so in the next couple of days. This challenge is focused around customer experience and making the stations experience as great as possible. So kind of if you think your business can apply to that, which I think most businesses in some form can work into the customer experience, please do head over to the Innovation Birmingham website, just at the top there, the link, and have a look whether you think you can apply your business to that. It's a great opportunity, and as I said, we've got our first cohort up and running within a couple of months during lockdown, so really great thing to be a part of. And whilst I'm talking about accelerator programs, I also just wanted to raise the fact that TechNation launched their 3 growth programs just yesterday. So applications opened yesterday. They've got their Rising Stars 3.0, Upscale 6.0, and their Future 50. So again, 3 great programs to apply for. The link is at the top of the screen there, and they kind of cover anything from early stage startups to fast growing tech scale-ups. So your business, no matter what, will fit into one of those categories. So please do take a look at their website. Their application dates vary for which program you apply for. So please just do check those dates, but they all opened yesterday, so still plenty of time to get going on those. That kind of brings us to the end of our session. I think I speak on behalf of myself and the audience. Thank you ever so much to you guys for presenting those. As I did say, if we have recorded this session, so if anybody would like a copy of that, we're free to share that. And also, if you want to shout about it, and anybody who's not been able to join the session, then please do let me know. My email address is on the screen there, stephanie.einen@bromwood.co.uk. And also, if you're interested in a speaker slot for any future Tech Wednesdays, next month we are having a Geovation takeover, which is really exciting. So we've got 4 startups who are currently on the Geovation program going to be joining us and talking all about their tech journey. But yeah, thank you ever so much. It's a bit weird online because you can't even have a round of applause, which but I will give you one. So thank you ever so much to you guys. Yes, well done. Clap each other. But yeah, that does bring us to a close for the evening. So unless anybody has any other comments to make, I wish you a pleasant evening, and hopefully you'll be able to join us on October the 21st, I believe, for our next month's session. Thank you ever so much. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.